Hello, this is question 11 on your mixed exercise 14. So the temperature T Celsius of a cup of tea is given by this function. So if you see the exponent is negative, so it's going to be decreasing with the time. So this is the temperature, 55e to the power minus t8 plus 20. Briefly explain why t must be greater or equal than 0. T is the time in minutes, which means cannot be negative, yeah? So t is time in minutes, so that means, so it cannot be negative. It cannot be negative. B, state the starting temperature of the cup of tea. So starting temperature is going to be when t, the time, is 0. So when t is 0, we can substitute and find the temperature. So it's 55 e to the power of 0 plus 20. E to the power of 0 is 1, so I have 55 plus 20 is 75 Celsius. C, find the time at which the temperature of the tea is 50 degrees, giving your answer to the nearest minute. So C is going to be temperature is 50 degrees Celsius, so we are going to substitute in the model the T, capital letter T, by 50. So I have 50 is 55 e t8 plus 20. I subtract 20, I have 30 is 55 e to the power minus t8. I divide by 55, and I have that e to the power minus t8 is 30 divided by 55. We can simplify it, and it's 6/11. And then if I take ln here and here, I have that ln e to the power minus t8 is going to be ln of 6/11, which means ln of e to the power of something is something, so minus t/8 is going to be ln 6/11, which means t is going to be minus 8 ln 6/11. You do this with a calculator and you get 4.849, yeah? And it says to the nearest minute. So this is going to be more or less 5 minutes. Yeah, so it takes like 5 minutes for the cup of tea to be at 50 degrees. 50 Celsius. By sketching a graph or otherwise, explain why the temperature of the tea will never fall below 20 Celsius. So there are a couple of ways of thinking this. You have an exponential decreasing. When t increases, so when t tends to infinity, this is going to tend to 0. So the whole thing is going to tend to 20. That's a way of thinking. So for D, we can think when t tends to infinite, that means that e to the power of minus t/8, which is really 1e to the power of t8, is going to tend to 0, because this is going to tend to infinity, which means the temperature is going to tend to 20 degrees. Yeah, that's a way of thinking. And the other way of thinking is just representing it. So we have the time here and the temperature here. If we represent e to the power of minus t8, we know this is decreasing, yeah? It's doing something like that. But we have 20 plus this exponential. So this 20 moves the whole thing up by 20. So instead of having an asymptote in the 0, I have an asymptote in the 20. So this would be 20. And that would be my asymptote, yeah? No, that doesn't look good. And this value would be the initial temperature, which was 75 Celsius. And that would be another way of saying that the temperature never goes down the 20 Celsius, yeah? It's up to you how you... They say sketching the graph or otherwise, yeah? So that's all with this question.